would just make an overall comment that we have a few separate account relationships, and those partners, if I take a look at how their pipeline has changed over the past 12 months, definitely more development and less value add. In fact, there's rare air there, so not really getting compensated for where the prices are going right now. So we see a lot of development proposals, maybe a little bit more than we'd like in terms of it's kind of eking outside of our guidelines, but we're definitely receptive to what's going on in the marketplace today, and we've seen some very strong proposals in that area. Also, as I mentioned before, we do invest primarily in commingled funds, and so we have long-standing relationships with partners like Westbrook and Carlisle and Blackstone, and we all know how active they are right here in the city. What I think is, if I could just take a moment to tell you a story about how the systems have gotten involved in investing in New York, particularly as this week we were in the one-year anniversary of Sandy. What we did was to try to immediately find some way to deploy capital in those areas. And we also have a long-standing economically targeted investment program where we try to kind of institutionalize investments in the 4 boroughs outside of Manhattan. But to stick with the Sandy story just for a second, within the 2 weeks that after Sandy, as we were in One Center Street with our boots, our scarves, and our hats, waiting for Conda to give us some heat, our CIO, Larry Schloss, which you all know, recently departed, but convened us all and said, I want you to find some way for us to get pension dollars at work immediately in Sandy. So of course everyone looks at the real estate people in the room. For the following 60 days, we brought in about 20 teams. We had to talk about their best ideas, and we took the strongest teams, and we moved forward with 2 investment programs. As you know, it's been publicized, $500 million in commitments to 2 programs, one to Related and one to Hudson, to do exactly that, to deploy capital in the 4 boroughs, particularly in the Sandy impacted areas. So it's just an example of how we try to make sure that the pension dollars, to the extent possible in a fiduciary manner, could be deployed in all 5 boroughs of New York City. So just to try to give you a different sense. I know things are popping all over the city, but we are typically an early mover in New York City emerging neighborhoods. Where we go in a couple of years, you all will follow. So just an example.
Well, and you were in Center Street, but if you followed Mary Angel Martin's advice, you would have been 45 feet above sea level in Brooklyn, and safe from Sandy. It's worth pointing out, I'm sure it's been mentioned earlier today, but this is around the anniversary of Sandy, and this program last year, credit to the entire team who put it together, went off without a hitch despite some major Sandy headwinds, and so we are sort of recognizing the anniversary right now. I want to shift to